Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Slam. I'm Steve Fall. Of course, today we're talking about the Royal Rumble predictions. I have a special guest. It's Phil Lindsey from GRAPSODY on Fightful. Oh, Phil, how you doing today?
I'm good.
Oh, that's awesome. We are matching, but I have my Macho Man shirt on, so
Got the show
representing.
Yeah.
You got to do it. You got to do it. Of course, I am wearing a man who never won the Royal Rumble. He was the only man to go for a pinfall in the 1993 Royal Rumble. I still don't understand what he was doing.
Should have won that Rumble that year. Hogan threw him out of the ring. But, Hogan's a traitorous schemer and a hot dogger, just like Macho Man always said.
It's true. It's true. He did rap about it, too, so that's nice. Though we are predicting Royal Rumble, and there are many people out there that have money on the line. Earlier today, I did a show about how Las Vegas has the betting odds for the women's matches and the men's matches. They actually believe in the men's match that Brock Lesnar has the highest rate to win the Rumble. So then my brain starts working. It's like, is he going to lose earlier in the night, his title, and then go into the Rumble? Or is it going to be like 2020 when he went in as the champion as well into the Rumble? And I got to say, that was one of the best Rumbles I've ever seen. But let's talk about it. Men's Royal Rumble. Does Brock Lesnar have a chance of winning?
I actually think Brock is not going to enter the Rumble. I think he's going to retain later in the night, so I don't think he's going to win. So now as the rumors online about that Brock Lesnar story come to play, what match do you think is going to start the show? Is it going to be a Rumble? Is it going to be the men's, the women, a championship? I mean, with some of the news we saw earlier this week with like Ronda Rousey looming over this thing, I could see the women's Rumble closing the night. So maybe one of the championship matches will start tonight, and then you get like a Rumble somewhere in the middle, the men's Rumble.
Okay. Well, let's jump into the men's Rumble then anyways, because there are a lot of people in this who don't have a snowball's chance in hell of winning, but we'll go through the names. Angelo Dawkins, no. Montez Ford, no, but I love him. Rey Mysterio, Dominic, Austin Theory. Well, maybe Austin Theory could bring down that egg that Vince McMahon has, and he could just bop everybody in the face with it. And, it's because it's an ODQ match in reality. You can come in with steel chairs, ladders, flamethrowers, whatever really you want to win that match. Johnny Knoxville, is he one of your favorites in this top five?
No, I don't think Johnny's winning anything.
No, that $1 million check that Jackass is giving the WWE is probably enough.
No, they're getting their cool little endorsement. He's gonna get some funny gag in the Rumble and get thrown out.
Is he gonna like have a big giant like fist hand and just boom and it hit someone and they fall over the top rope?
Yeah, he's gonna have some. I'm not sure what they're gonna do just yet, but he's gonna have some weird gag. He's probably gonna eliminate Sammy.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we got Damien Priest, AJ Styles. Big E is also in the odds. He's number 2 in the Las Vegas odds of winning the Royal Rumble. Do you think Big E has a chance?
I would really, really like Big E to win. It makes the most sense for him to win because of the way he lost the title. And, that would be a nice way to heat him back up heading into WrestleMania. But I kind of don't think he's going to win. He's the guy I want to win, but he's not my pick to win.
All right, now let's dive into Big E a little bit more because I think he's having the same problem Bianca Belair had, where they have all this momentum and then you just rip the rug out from underneath them, but then you gave them nothing else to grab onto. So you're supposed to, as a fan, maybe the WWE believes we're supposed to still root for the underdog, but when you give someone this opportunity and this big push and then you just rip out the rug, it's very hard for fans to get back into these characters. And I love Big E, but this past week on SmackDown, he showed up with Kofi. He's feuding with Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin. That's not a man who's about to win the Royal Rumble.
Nah, it looks like they're doing exactly what they did with Kofi. He's back doing goofy tag team stuff. And look, being a tag team wrestler is not a demotion. It's just how WWE sees them. WWE absolutely sees tag team wrestling as a demotion.
Yes. I think it's all going back to, you got to go back to like the Hart Foundation with Jim the Anvil and Bret Hart, where they found out that one person out of that team could become the star. And then from that point on, it became like this revolving door. Shawn Michaels did the same thing. They tried to do it with the Smoking Guns, Billy and Bart Gunn, Billy Gunn. They've tried to do it with a million tag teams, Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boys. It goes on and on and on and on and on. And so I agree with you that I don't think tag team wrestling is a demotion, but holy crap, if you work for the WWE, it is a demotion. And there's no doubt about that. And it's very sad that it keeps happening. So
yeah,
Big E, I hope he's the final four. I hope they at least give him that. Maybe even the second to last person. Give him that. But
yeah.
I guess we'll have to wait and see. Happy Corbin, Madcap Moss, excuse me, Sami Zayn, Kofi Kingston, Kevin Owens, Omos. No. Randy Orton, Riddle, Chad Gable, Otis, Ziggler, and Rude. If that my counting is correct, that's 22 men officially in the match. So we got 8 spots to fill. The rumor of Brock, maybe a Roman, surprises. Out of that bunch, really, who has the chance of winning?
I'm gonna go a long shot. My pick to win is actually Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens.
Because I think, well, first of all, him re-signing like this close to WrestleMania season, I have to assume he's doing something big. I mean, logically, that's how you would think, but you never know what that company.
I was gonna say, you said logically. Let's remember.
Because I mean, we've seen things like Pete Dunne re-signed right before they restarted NXT with NXT 2.0, and then he lost that title match on the first night, which made no sense. And we've seen all kinds of other things like this. Like Cesaro re-signed, he lost that title match, and he's been like nowhere to be found since then. So I think there's something to him re-signing, and I think the way that they're building up this like friendship between him and Rollins is like the storyline going into WrestleMania. I could see him winning, and I can also see Rollins winning, and then them coming out of Royal Rumble looking like they're on top, and coming out of this thinking, okay, well, you're just going to challenge Brock. You're not going to challenge me. And then he challenges Rollins at WrestleMania.
Dude, I love that idea. I love it. It reminds me of like the whole Jericho, Kevin Owens best friend relationship from a few years ago before AEW obviously was a thing. And everyone was convinced, oh man, Jericho and Owens totally going to like main event because it's the best storyline. It did not. And they ended up fighting for the US title instead of the world title because we needed Goldberg to have that title for nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Yeah,
nope.
But this year, like I feel like the Rumble is like up in the air. Like this is the first year in a long time where I feel like there's not a straightforward guy that I know is going to win. Like
right.
when
Continue. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say when Rollins won, you could kind of tell that was Rollins' year.
Of course.
Like the same thing with a bunch of other people. Like last year, you could tell it's Bianca's year. I don't know. This is up in the air, and that's why I'm like, Kevin Owens makes a lot of sense, but at the same time, Big E makes sense as well. I'm just not sure if I believe they're going to give him that kind of win.
Yeah, and we've seen it before where people who win the Royal Rumble don't actually main event WrestleMania. We do have 2 nights, but we've seen it in the past. Sheamus won the Rumble, and he fought Daniel Bryan in the opening match of WrestleMania, I think 27. So it's not like it's out of the ordinary for someone to be like, oh my God, they won the Royal Rumble. But guess what? They're not going to main event. And then you have other matches, obviously, that are bigger on the card. I like the idea of Kevin Owens. I do like that storyline with Seth Rollins. I didn't even think about that. So thank you for putting that thought in my brain. So if it doesn't happen, I'm going to blame you. Just saying. Just saying. But like those 8 spots that are left over, it opens up the gate. Like I said, the betting odds on Vegas have Brock Lesnar as number 1. At number 6, they have The Rock. They have The Rock at number 6 winning the Royal Rumble. So that can also show you where the betting odds are here in Vegas. Though if you want to win some big money, if you want to spend big to win big, Vince McMahon is at the bottom of the Vegas odds, and he's at 25,000 plus. So if you bet and he wins, you're going to win a lot of money in Vegas. Just saying. But don't do that. Just don't do that, though, because you'll probably lose. So we'll have to wait and see. But I love the idea of Kevin Owens winning. And since you convinced me, I want it to happen now. And but if it doesn't, I have a sneaky suspicion that either Brock or Roman Reigns will win because they still need to connect those 2 dots at WrestleMania. Clearly, day 1 in COVID put a whole monkey wrench into what was going to happen. So let's see. I think Brock or Roman wins. That's my prediction, but that's me. Let's go to the women's, though, because I think everybody this week had a prediction in their brain, Bianca Belair. And then the story broke from Fightful family, that Ronda Rousey might be coming back to the WWE. We don't know when. Dave Meltzer said today that she's guaranteed to be at WrestleMania, not guaranteed to be at Royal Rumble. But Dave, he's been wrong before. But now, if Ronda enters the Royal Rumble and Bianca's in the ring and Bianca gets tossed out by Ronda, do you think Twitter's just going to have a full-blown meltdown?
Yeah, the Let It Play Out crowd that has been trying to have faith since Bianca lost at SummerSlam is going to be really, really going to be really pressed to try and come up with an excuse as to why this happened. And yeah, it's going to be a disaster if Bianca gets thrown out by Ronda.
Right. Like Bianca losing on her own is one thing, but if you're trying to bring back a face Ronda Rousey and she tosses out Bianca, and you think people are going to cheer Ronda after that, you're crazy. So let's leave Ronda out of the situation first. Let's talk about all the women in the match, and then we'll break down who actually has a chance and who doesn't. Rhea Ripley, Nikki ASH, Dana Brooke. She's actually, kid you not, the Vegas odds with Dana Brooke are at like plus 30,000, and she's next to pregnant Candice LeRae.
Wow.
That's how bad Dana Brooke's odds are of winning this Royal Rumble. She's next to a pregnant Candice LeRae. So I don't think she's going to win. Queen Vega, Carmella, Tamina, Shotzi, Natalya, Aaliyah, Naomi, I thought had a chance. But then you kind of throw in this Ronda situation, Bianca Belair, maybe even Liv Morgan. Do you think Naomi has a chance, or is this going to continue Sonya screwing over Naomi heading into Mania?
Yeah, Naomi was actually my pick to win until the Ronda news dropped. And now I'm kind of unsure on that pick, because now I feel like if Ronda's in the Rumble, she's going to win.
Right. I can't imagine her being in the Rumble and losing. That'd be even more shocking, I think, if that happened. I think people would be like, thank God she returned and lost. But
yeah, and I mean, this is kind of full circle, because she debuted at Royal Rumble. She said for like the last 2 years or so that she wants to be in a Rumble. There were those reports that she was planned to be in a Rumble that year, and they took her out at the last minute. So this makes sense for her to re-debut in the Rumble.
Yeah, and I know people were upset with Ronda that first time she showed up, because Asuka won the first ever Women's Royal Rumble, and then out comes Ronda to steal her thunder and then point at the sign, because we'll have to point at the sign. And, whatever. But I have to, this is my personal opinion, Ronda Rousey, in that year she was around, really put women's wrestling continuously on the map. There was no way you could let it slip out into 3-minute matches, because it was Ronda Rousey. Right. Once she disappeared, they were like, okay, we can now play with our toys again, and we're going to give you 3-minute matches. And the man, Becky Lynch, was going to try to hold it down, but it didn't work out. It didn't. They tried. She was popular. She sold a lot of merchandise, but me thinking, once Ronda left, the women's division kind of just slowly has been going down. That's just me. That's my personal opinion. But do you think Ronda coming back or not coming back is going to help or hurt the women's division?
That's a tough question, because I do think in 2018, the women's division was kind of at its peak. You had Evolution that year. You had the women main eventing coming out of that year. You still had the Mae Young Classic and stuff like that. And I mean, there's correlation to not Randy.
I'm sorry.
Ronda being with Ronda being there, but I don't know, man. Like with Ronda there's so much temptation to put all of the attention on Ronda again, because that was kind of the problem they had during her reign, where she was just steamrolling through everybody. Yeah. And once she lost the title, there was nobody credible to challenge Becky anymore, because Ronda had beaten everyone. Mm-hmm. And with where the division is right now, the division is kind of thin. They've released a lot of women. I don't know, man. I do think that it could help. It could help to get the women back in, prominent spots on the card. But at the same time, it does worry me.
Yeah, I think if Ronda was even still around that whole time, I don't think they would have laid off the Iconics and Mickie James and Lana and Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo in NXT. There were Vanessa Bourne, so many women wrestlers were laid off, and would have maybe perhaps Ronda sticking around would have saved more women. I don't know. Maybe. But Naomi, you brought up Naomi. Man, if Ronda's not involved, I think every conversation now we're going to have is, if Ronda's not involved, this could happen. And Naomi, I think, is a top 3 choice, though Vegas odds, she's not even in the top 10. So wow. I think that's really showing you something that people have given up on her. And I haven't. I really just wanted her to join the bloodline like 6 months ago, but that's me. So your choice, though, you just said, is Naomi to win the Royal Rumble. But Ronda's story kind of threw you into a tailspin.
Yeah, coming into the event, I really thought it was Naomi's match to win. It makes the most sense for her to finally get this big match with Charlotte that she didn't get when she was champion. And they've got to get her out of the storyline with Sonya. Like it's been going on way too long. They've got to get her out of the storyline.
You gotta let it play out, Phil. Let it play out.
This thing has been going since August, man. Come on, man. Cut it out. But now, the idea of Ronda being there just completely throws me for a loop. Now I kind of feel like Ronda's going to win. I don't know. And it makes a lot of sense because Becky's champion, that would give you a ready-made challenger for Becky going into WrestleMania. I don't know. I guess at this point, my pick is Ronda.
Okay. We have more choices. Obviously, they're not going to win. Shayna Baszler's not winning. Charlotte Flair could have a chance. Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, Lita, Michelle McCool, Mrs. Undertaker. So she might win because Taker will see like, she's got to win. Kelly, Summer Rae, Mickie James. When they announced her, I was shocked. She is the current Knockouts champion in Impact Wrestling. And they did mention Impact Wrestling, and she was a champion. And of course, we have Bianca Belair and Liv Morgan. I did think that Liv Morgan had a chance at first, but once this Naomi Sonya storyline got going on more, Bianca Belair needs redemption, Ronda Rousey maybe. I think Liv Morgan, after seeing what happened to her on Raw this past week, where she was involved with a 3-on-3 match with, like, it wasn't even the tag team champions, the women's. It was like one of them. And then Nikki ASH and Tamina. I'm like, no, if you touch Tamina, you are poisoned. It's the poison apple of Snow White. You touch her, it's over for you. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. So Liv Morgan, I think, has lost her chance in the momentum she had heading into this event. But I really have my fingers crossed that Bianca Belair wins it back to back and gets redemption. I don't give a shit if it's Bianca versus Ronda versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, but Bianca Belair needs to win her belt back. That's all I'm saying. I
agree. I mean, and she's not even on the same brand. Can't even win the belt back. Have to settle for winning the Raw title now. But yeah, I think Bianca should win. I wouldn't be mad if Naomi won, but it just feels like, once it's like having Brock back. Once you got the idea that you got Ronda back, well, got to book her to win.
Right. Obviously, it's obvious to me that if you bring back someone huge like that, you're not going to have him lose. Like the year they brought back Batista. Nobody wanted Batista to win the Royal Rumble, but he did. But we still got Daniel Bryan in the main event that year. So in reality, it's like you can win the Rumble, but you also might not be the face everyone wants to cheer for. But we'll have to see how that goes down. We do have other matches to talk about. We have Brock Lesnar defending his WWE Championship against Bobby Lashley. This one I've been waiting for so long. I think a lot of fans have been waiting for this one for a long time, and I don't know why they kept them apart. And also, Bobby Lashley has been misused since returning to WWE. It feels like forever ago now, with that weird storyline with Sami Zayn and Bobby Lashley's sisters. Still don't understand why that was necessary. He had cat eyes at one point. He had Leo Rush with him. He didn't have Leo Rush with him. He had the Hurt Business. He didn't have the Hurt Business. Finally, he's Psycho Bobby, and he's going to kill Brock Lesnar. He's not going to win, though, but he'll look good doing. He'll look good losing. What do you think? Brock versus Bobby? Who's winning?
Oh, Brock's definitely retaining here. I really like that video package they put up this week. With Bobby in the gym and doing like all the training and stuff. That looked really great. That's all you have to do with Bobby. You don't have to overcomplicate it. Just do stuff like that with him. And I actually think coming out of the pandemic era, he was one of the guys that benefited the most. When he was with Hurt Business and, he was doing a lot of stuff in those empty arena shows, he got over huge. And, I feel like his title reign came at the right time. Could have gone a little bit longer, maybe, but I mean, getting that big win at WrestleMania, I didn't expect him to beat Drew. I thought that was huge for him. So, I'm excited. I'm excited that he's finally getting this match that he's been campaigning for forever. But he's definitely losing. I hope it's not like a short match. I hope it's at least competitive.
Yeah.
But he's definitely losing.
and 100%, if someone wants to put money on it, there's going to be a spear spot through the barricade. You know it's coming. You know it's coming. Oh, shit. Like Michael Cole saying, we're on the road to WrestleMania. It's guaranteed that Bobby Lashley is spearing Brock Lesnar through the barricade. Put it on your bingo cards if you want to win at home, folks. We also have Roman Reigns taking on Seth freaking Rollins. They added the freaking race recently, so we got to make sure we get everyone to know it. The Universal Championship. Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso are banned from ringside. It was a storyline that happened recently on Raw. Shield member is Shield member. Seth Rollins has never lost to Roman Reigns. He's going to lose this tonight, though.
I am actually predicting that Seth Rollins is going to win. And I've been watching this thing develop for a while because I actually thought this should have been the WrestleMania match. But they're so dead set on giving us Brock and Roman again at WrestleMania, which I just don't know why we need it again. And all of the video package they show every week on SmackDown, they've made this feel like a big match. Now everything around it is kind of whatever. But I feel like they're trying to turn Rollins face, and it's kind of working. I was skeptical at first, but when I see the reaction sometimes and I see the crowd singing his theme song with him and stuff like that, I think it's working.
I love when he comes out and does his little dance, and he's like, I think people are. I think you might be right, but it's still so hard to get into a man who like ripped out Rey Mysterio's eye a year and a half ago.
Yeah. It's weird because I've had this debate with people since last year, because I famously said in the spaces that 2021 was the year of Seth Rollins. I feel like he had a fantastic year. I feel like his character work was good. He was having phenomenal matches. That feud with Edge was probably one of the better feuds of the year.
Yeah.
It was really kind of his year. Now I don't think that means he was wrestler of the year, but like even me broaching that conversation, a lot of people are like, I don't know about all that. I was like, no, this was his year. He's been, and I really believe like if Brock wasn't in that match, he was going to win the title at day one. Something about it just tells me he was going to win. So I feel like I could easily see him being the guy to take the Universal title back to Raw and bringing us back that big old jam red belt. Because really, that's his biggest failure. His biggest failure, at least as a face, was losing the title to the Fiend, and the belt went to SmackDown. And so I feel like a good way to make him face again would be to win and bring the title back to Raw.
I love it. I love your enthusiasm for Seth Rollins, and I agree with you. He had a damn good year, and once he lost to the Fiend, holy moly! Like Seth Rollins, if you look at the history of Seth Rollins in the WWE, it's like here he goes, here he goes, here he goes, here he goes. Oh, there he goes, there he goes, and then he goes back up. You're like, oh, there he goes again. But it takes him so long to get back up. Then once he gets knocked down, you're like, oh, now he's teaming up with Jason Jordan in a tag team. You're like, what is going on here?
Yeah, I feel like he was in a good spot as a face. I know people kind of turned on him as a face, but
once they brought up Becky Lynch in Seth Rollins' storyline, it was like, hello, red flags. People like Becky. Men want to believe they can get with Becky Lynch. That's like a thing in people's brains. So you suddenly like, hey, there's her boyfriend. And then you start hating him because then you want Becky. It's I don't understand WWE. It's like 101.
Yeah, I don't understand. The way that he got over in that year heading to the Royal Rumble is just by having great matches and being Seth Rollins. When he was Intercontinental Champion, that's how he got over it. He was having great matches every week. And I feel like they went away from that. They started trying to do like all this character stuff. They started doing the dumb Corbin thing. They did the Braun Strowman thing where Braun was tag champions with Braun.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
I forgot about that. I pushed it out.
Yeah, it's like they forgot that this guy got over because he was having great matches. And actually, when he first won the title, he had that great match with AJ Styles, and then from there it was just like off a cliff. And I feel like there was a glimmer of hope at SummerSlam when he beat Brock because that match was actually really good.
Yep.
And then it was just off a cliff again with the Fiend stuff.
I know.
So I don't know. I feel like Raw really needs a big star at the helm. And I feel like Seth Rollins is the guy. I feel like for me, it should have been Big E, but I feel like they believe in Seth Rollins a lot more than they believe in Big E. So I could clearly see him being the champion heading into WrestleMania.
Now, why do you think they believe in Seth Rollins versus Big E?
I think it's a safe pick because I think when you look at just like nostalgia, he's been there and he's been a member of the Shield. He's been all these other things for them. I think he's a safe pick for them. And I mean, I think they've been trying to groom this guy to be their guy since Roman had to leave with leukemia. Like they wanted him to be the guy then, and it just kind of fell apart. I can easily see them being we owed you because we screwed you over with that Hell in a Cell match, and this could be his way of redeeming himself.
Seth Rollins never helped himself though on Twitter either. At all. He like the character that he became, a Messiah and all that, was like based off of fans being upset with the Hell in the Cell match with the Fiend, and then him going on some Twitter rant and then insulting other federations and insulting indie wrestlers and talking about how he had more money in his bank account. It turned into like this red flag of like, I think Seth Rollins is broken. I think something happened to him. He's feeling the pressure of being the man.
Yeah, he became super pro company guy for a minute. And I know that rubbed people the wrong way, but I feel like the character stuff we've gotten out of that with the Messiah and then later like the Visionary or Drip God or whatever else he wanted to name himself, I thought that stuff was actually pretty good.
Me too. Yeah. Hey man, I hope Seth Rollins can pull it off here, but like, does he need the win, or are we gonna do like a Drew McIntyre moment where like he won the Royal Rumble, he went on to win the championship at WrestleMania, he needed those combos to get there. Seth Rollins really doesn't need like a big time moment to become champion again, but someone's gonna beat Roman Reigns. And are we legit gonna give it to Brock Lesnar? He already had the streak. You're gonna give this to Brock too?
I mean, in a perfect world, it should have been a newer star that you can, give a rub to beat Roman.
Yeah.
And it might still be that. We don't know. And I mean, I thought Big E should have cashed in on him and beat him. But
he had the chance.
What are you going to do? I think Rollins makes a lot of sense, not necessarily because he needs to win, but because, of their history together, it doesn't hurt Roman to lose to Rollins. And then on top of that, like, I just feel like Rollins, you can say that he's had great moments, right? You can say that he's had like great WrestleMania moments. He's had great SummerSlam moments, all this other stuff, but he hasn't had a really good world title reign when you really think about it.
Seth Rollins?
All of his world title reigns have been kind of meh.
I think 2015, he had a pretty good run as the face of the Authority when he turned on the Shield and then won Money in the Bank and then cashed in at WrestleMania 31. And then from there, he had a pretty good run until he got hurt. So he never really lost the belt.
Yeah, I guess when I think of that run, I always think about him doing the chicken shit thing and running away a lot and not. So
you're talking about like no help, nobody else involved, just him. And the storyline is Seth Rollins brought that up. Like Roman's never been kind of like on his own, and when he has, he never really is successful. He always keeps like losing to bigger heels or heels teaming up to take him out. So I hope I'm really excited for this matchup. I think Roman's going to win. But I love your theory of Seth Rollins picking up this win here because, he probably needs it. And you can still have Brock versus Roman. And you can have Seth versus KO as you brought it up earlier.
Yeah, I mean, with this, I feel like that's a good way to shake things up on Raw and bring the Universal title back to Raw. They really want Roman to be the number one champion. It's so obvious. They treat the Universal title like it's the number one title. So I think it makes all the sense in the world to have Brock versus Roman for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. And that way you can do Rollins versus Big E. You can do Rollins versus KO. You can do a triple threat match. You have a ton of options with that on Raw. But if you're just going into WrestleMania with both of these guys holding the title, I do not want to see a winner take all match. Like, that is not a good option in my opinion.
They can sell those Becky 2-belt shirts and just cross out their name Becky and put Roman's name or Brock's name with some tape over it and just write magic markers.
Could you imagine Roman with both belts though? Like,
that's when it would be too much. It already happened in Survivor Series, I feel like, where it was Roman versus Big E, and the idea of like everyone knew Roman couldn't lose. So then suddenly I think that was the night everyone felt it. They're like, wait a minute, Roman can't lose. So now every time he wrestles, we always are going to say Roman can't lose. So no longer are these false finishes getting us, because we're all thinking the same thing. Roman can't lose. And so we'll see what happens at Rumble, but I still am underneath the impression of Roman can't lose unless it's, Brock or The Undertaker for some strange reason. I don't know why, but I have a sneaky suspicion he's going to be there. Let's move on though. You say Seth, I say Roman. Let's go to the women's match. We got Becky Lynch versus Doudrop. Vegas odds are not in the favor of Doudrop. They are 100% behind Becky Lynch, and so am I. Yeah,
I mean, Becky's winning this thing. I really like that Piper's getting a world title match.
I'm sorry,
she's really good.
Who's this Piper living character? I don't know who that is.
I refuse to call her Doudrop.
Doudrop. Oh, you said it. Oh, Doudrop. Yes, I know what you're talking about now. Doudrop. Want to talk about Gunther next?
I do think Gunther is going to be in the Rumble, but
yes.
I think he's going to pop up in a Rumble.
Me too.
But I have no faith in them giving. No, Becky.
No, there's no way Doudrop's winning. At least it's a new match. That's all I was excited about when Doudrop won the triple threat against Bianca and Liv. I was like, thank God we're gonna get a different match, because I couldn't handle Liv losing again, and I couldn't handle Bianca losing again. So I was like, thank God Doudrop's here to lose the first time.
And I think it's going to be a good match. I think that she's very good. And I think a lot of people that may not have watched some of her indie stuff or NXT UK stuff might not realize how good she is.
Yeah, NXT UK. It's got some, I watched it for a long time, and then I just stopped, but because they stopped making new episodes in 2020 because of COVID, obviously. So they're playing the best ofs, and I was like, okay, well, the best ofs, whatever. But I already seen these matches. But so many people have come from there that have done really well for themselves. And like I said, the grizzled young veterans, Rhea Ripley, Toni Storm obviously is not there anymore, but Pete Dunne was like the longest UK champion of all time, most likely because he wasn't defending the title for so long. Same thing with Gunther, because he was champion for like 300 years, and when NXT UK wasn't producing matches. But yeah, I think Doudrop, she's finally come into her own as like the new Nia Jax type character, where she's like, oh no, it's like, tonight you gotta fight Doudrop. And you're like, no. She's like the oh no, I have to fight this big person who's gonna hurt me, and then you always beat him, always. So Becky Lynch. It's very obvious who's gonna win here, but I don't know who's gonna win this matchup. Mixed tag, Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Miz and Maurice. Is this just to continue to WrestleMania, or is this like the period in the storyline so Edge can go have a WrestleMania match? Who's gonna win?
I feel like Edge and Beth are going to win this. I feel like Edge is going to move on to a one-on-one match by the time WrestleMania comes. And he's been saying AJ Styles for a long time. Edge versus AJ Styles makes a lot of sense for WrestleMania. I don't know what they're doing with AJ Styles right now. So that makes sense as a matchup for him.
Yeah, I read the rumor as well about Edge and AJ Styles, and I was like, ooh. Well, this sounds interesting. That's a good singles match. Night 1, night 2, whatever you give me, I'll take it. Edge and Beth Phoenix and Miz and Maurice. This will definitely be on the Miz and Mrs. show. So, like next week on Miz and Maurice. Maurice's cleavage fell out right before we walked out for the Royal Rumble by accident.
Yeah, I wonder if Maurice is going to be in the Rumble now, because she's going to be there.
And Beth Phoenix as well. You think about it, So whatever happens in this match will obviously lead into more when we get like Beth Phoenix tossing out, like Maurice to be like, I'm winning. And then here comes Beth with her giant mohawk that reaches the ceiling. And
what year was that where Beth got busted open? You remember that? Like her hair was like soaked in blood. Was that 2019 or 2020?
Oh man. What? Yeah, that had to have been 2019. It wasn't 2020.
Yeah, like that was crazy.
She was gushing everywhere. Yeah. Because recently, though, it's funny. I was watching the 2010 Royal Rumble today. I don't know why I was watching it, but it came on, and that's the night Beth Phoenix comes out and eliminates the Great Khali Lee with a kiss.
Of course.
So she's the second woman at the time to ever be in the Royal Rumble. Now we have a all-women's Royal Rumble. So, I could see Beth and Maurice making an appearance there. We have more spots to fill, so we got to film with somebody. We're not going to bring up NXT 2.0 wrestlers, are we? Cora Jade?
I could see Mandy showing up. Mandy makes a lot of sense.
Mandy Rose makes sense. Man, let's just go off for a tailspin for a second. What a weird time where she was Dana Brooks' friggin' mirror image slipping on the ramp at WrestleMania last year. And now she's the NXT Women's Champion with like the sexy girl gimmick with her own faction. It's like, some people don't get second chances. Mandy Rose keeps getting chances, and it's working out for her. But I
stars a brand.
I could see it. I liked her. What was it? Her and Sonya Deville, and who was their manager? Was it Paige? Yeah. That's how they got introduced, and that's when they brought
Absolution.
Yes, and then that was the same week they brought in the Riot Squad on. Ruby Riott, obviously, and Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan. So, that was a good time. Well, we'll have to see at Royal Rumble if Beth and Maurice will be in it. But I think, like you just brought up, I think Edge and Beth win, and then Miz can go off to do whatever he wants to do. And then, AJ Styles can finally grow some balls and say, I'm done fighting Omos and Austin Theory and all the undercards and give me main event status wrestlers like Edge heading into WrestleMania. So that's how I feel. Big bold predictions, though. Who is the biggest surprise that will be in a Royal Rumble?
My bold prediction for the Women's Rumble is that Bayley is going to return in the Rumble, and she's going to eliminate Lita and take her WrestleMania match away so that they can have a WrestleMania match.
Wow. That's a big, bold statement because they were leading us down in Lita Charlotte Flair, but you're leading me down the Bayley Lita, which I will 100% take and enjoy and gobble up. Let's see, a big bold prediction of mine. It's not really big or bold, but I have a terrible feeling that Goldberg will be here. That's right. I'd rather see Gilbert, but that's just me.
Unleash Gilbert.
Hey, you gotta get the sparklers out, get the fire extinguisher going, making sure he's not on fire, So I'd rather see Gilbert than Goldberg, or even the Repo Man. I'll take him over seeing
Repo Man
versus Goldberg. Hey, good music too. Repo Man, formerly of Smash of Demolition, so he's done some things. Though he is trying to sue the WWE right now for a concussion, so I don't think that's gonna happen.
Wow. Did not know that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of wrestlers like the Warlord, the Barbarian, Demolition, all the wrestlers who need money, who are like, hey, we should sue them because we don't have any money left. Okay, not the best idea because they have a lawyer on retainer Jerry McDivitt, who you cannot screw with. This man has beaten the government. He's going to beat Axe and Smash and Demolition too.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
But Phil, from GRAPSODY of Fightful, when does your show air? Let's share with the people what time, when, and where can they check out your show?
GRAPSODY is every Saturday, and that's at noon Eastern. That's me, Will Washington, Righteous Reg. This week, I'm actually going to be in St. Louis, so probably recording live from my hotel room, but nice. We will be still airing on Saturday morning.
Outstanding. I cannot wait to watch. Saturday is going to be a crazy day. Everyone's going to either be super angry or super happy on Saturday night. Either Bianca wins and Ronda tosses her out, or Ronda doesn't show up and Becky loses. Bianca loses no matter what. Twitter's going to have a meltdown, and I'm going to be there with my popcorn, enjoying it. Phil, thank you so much for being here. Folks, we've had a great time. Bye.